Alright, so I'm gonna tell you the story about how I went from working odd jobs and waiting tables to becoming a professional private chef pretty much overnight. For the past 4.5 years, I've worked as a private chef alongside making these videos here on LeTube. The job brought me to some pretty incredible locations, allowed me to work with some pretty talented people and cooks, and I even got to cook for a couple A-list celebrities. That was pretty tight. That wasn't supposed to be like a flex, it was through a friend, but it was still pretty tight. Then in January of 2022, I decided to leave my private chef job to come here and make cooking videos on the internet full time. It was a very tough decision, but one that had to be done. Ooh. Say hi to the demon, guys. What's up? Let's wrap the past 21 years into a nice little compact 1-minute synopsis, shall we? Now, I don't have one of those tugging at my grandmother's apron origin stories. I was not born with a whisk in my hand, and I was not raised by kitchen staff, but I did grow up cooking with my mom from time to time. My parents divorced when I was 2 years old, and my mom has always been a very good cook. She taught me how to identify and pluck herbs at a young age. She also taught me the importance of eating well and the importance of sitting around the dinner table. But I was never really fully into cooking until around my sophomore year of college back in 2015. Living on my own, I learned that the cafeteria was not always going to be there for me, that I would probably die prematurely if I ate ramen noodles every single day, and that I actually liked cooking a little bit. Soon enough, I was like fully into it. I was researching recipes, I was reading cookbooks, watching all the food media I could, and eating out at restaurants when I had the money to do so, which was not very often. After graduating from the University of Kansas with a bachelor's degree in journalism, my first job out of college, you guessed it, was as a dishwasher at a high-end Mexican restaurant in town. I really wanted to just check that box off. Met some really interesting characters. Shout out Rhino, dude. I hope that finger bite off lawsuit went well. After college and a bit of travel, I headed back home to Chicago to live with my dad and kind of like, figure it out like any other post-grad does. Get out of here. After living for a month or two at home, I got a call from a friend who was opening a food truck in Los Angeles. She really needed line cooks, and this was a great opportunity for me to finally get my feet wet on the line, so a buddy of mine and I drove across country to go help her out. We cooked for 400 or 500 person events and festivals, we worked insane hours, and I even managed to get the worst kitchen injury that I've ever received to date, even now, like 5 years later. It was stressful, it was exhausting, and it was extremely fun all at the same time, and honestly, I wouldn't trade the experience for the world. No, I'll be real with you, after working on the food truck, I was pretty convinced that I did not want to go into professional cooking. It was grueling and it was a lot of work and you didn't get a lot of pay and it seemed like there were a lot of cons and not many pros. But I always had that small spark in the pit of my stomach. I kind of knew I always wanted to cook still, but I was like suppressing it and pushing it down to the depths of my soul. After a couple months of couch surfing, I headed back east, back home to Chicago to figure it out, if you will, once again. After living at home for a chunk of time, working sketchy internet jobs and waiting tables, I landed a digital marketing internship at a local food startup here in Chicago. I did the whole desk job thing and learned how to play with Facebook ads, and at first it was pretty cool. However, the novelty of drinking cold brew from the tap, working in a cool neighborhood in the city, and playing ping pong during office hours quickly faded. It was pretty quick that I knew the suit life was not for me. But at that same time that I took the internship, I was also offered a position by my other friend, also located in Los Angeles, and the position was remotely helping him manage and run his cooking show, his vegan cooking show on Roku. That job was really cool. I learned so much. I was exposed to what a real kitchen studio kind of looked and felt like with real professional gear, and got to go behind the scenes, and that was what largely inspired me to, honestly, with the little money that I had, buy my own camera. After some time working at the digital marketing internship while helping produce my friend's show, the full-time job that I was supposed to land from the internship kind of fell through because they decided that they needed to hire someone a little more senior, which definitely put me in a pickle. Up until that point, as you can probably tell, I've worked all over, and I tried everything, and truth be told, I was left empty-handed. But then I got a call that would change my life. My friend, the same one who I went to go help launch the food truck in Los Angeles, gave me a call out of the blue from Malibu. One of her Chicago-based clients was in need of a new private chef. She asked me straight up right then and there if I was interested in the position and if I could take a call with the boss. And I didn't know what the hell to say to her because the truth is I was in my boxers playing Battlefield 4 with the boys, probably a few beers in. Long story short, I put some clothes on, went outside, took the call, and everything went well, and before I know it, I had an interview set up that next week. The following week, I drove over to the client's house, cooked her a very simple meal. I think it was literally like chicken, potato puree, and a vegetable. Anyways, to my surprise, she absolutely loved it, and right then and there, I was pretty much offered the job right on the spot. So kind of just like that, I went from being a lost 23-year-old punk to being a professional chef overnight. And as you can imagine, imposter syndrome kicked in pretty quick. After taking the private chef job, I knew that I had one advantage, and that was that I knew very little about professional cooking. what was now my new career. I loved cooking and I could crush a few simple dishes for my friends, but I had no formal training and I never went to culinary school, which at the time I thought was a big detriment. Everything kind of worked out though, because a fire was lit right under my ass to learn more every single day. I practiced my knife skills every single day. I practiced cooking a new dish every single day before going into work, where I would then cook more. I taught myself how to take care of my knives and keep them sharp, and I reached out to cooks and chefs who I knew were better than me to ask questions and to get mentorship. And the whole time I was practicing cooking, I was also teaching myself how to use this dinky little Canon DSLR, my first camera. After a few months of working at the private chef job and living at home and saving, I was able to buy my first laptop where I could then edit off of, and taught myself how to use Final Cut Pro. Then in December of 2018, I decided to make a YouTube channel. At first, the mantra of the channel was to learn out loud. Instead of coming at you like I'm an expert in my craft, I wanted to share things more like, here's a great recipe that I made and how I messed it up, but then how I made it better again. That sort of thing, more or less. And man, those old videos are bad, and I've actually decided to leave them up so you can go back and look at them to see exactly what not to do. After working for a couple years as a private chef, I was finally able to save up enough guala to move out of my dad's house and into this apartment. For years after that, I balanced my full-time private chef job with the side passion project that I had, which is Omnivorous Adam, right? Making videos. Then, earlier this year, in January to be exact, I decided to push off from the private chef job and make these videos for you guys full-time. So yeah, here we are. Making this video has really made me look inward and think about our purpose here. My perspective on cooking is very much that of a home cook mixed with a professional chef. I'm sort of a hybrid of the two. My private chef experience cooking for large groups, and exposure to professional environments definitely sets me apart from the home cookery sector. But having worked in so many domestic environments on a professional capacity, I'm still very much connected to the nurturing, comforting, sort of down-home cooking that is home cooking. I plan to use that expertise to help you better understand cooking techniques and, just become a better cook in general, whether you're on the pro side or a home cook or somewhere in the middle. This video marks a new season for Omnivorous Adam. From here on out, things are going to be bigger and better, and I can't wait to share it with you. If you're a fresh omnivore, welcome to the party. It's gonna be a good one. To all you guys who have been following along for the past few years, thank you so much. I appreciate your constructive criticism, your support, and your feedback over the past years, and I promise I will do my best to upkeep the channel and make sure things are shipshape around here. My promise to you is that we will always keep it real with you. Cheers to food, cheers to the channel, and cheers to 100,000 of you beautiful omnivores. I literally could not do this without every single one of you. Until next time, cook on, and I shall see you very soon. Toodles.